City of Texas, 1990. Former police officer and his pregnant girlfriend's murder. Was this murder premeditated, or did circumstances lead to this tragic end? Did Martin commit this crime alone, or was someone else involved? The police found two suspects in this case, but who was the real killer? A terrifying night. In the darkness of the night, a black car silently moved along a deserted road. Outside the car window, a desolate forest stretched endlessly, with trees swaying in the chilly wind and an owl hooting eerily in the distance, adding to the night's ominous atmosphere. Inside the car sat a man, his eyes filled with concealed anger and anxiety. He was a former police officer named Martin Jacob, and tonight, he was on a different kind of mission. Beside him, on the passenger seat, sat his 25-year-old pregnant girlfriend, Sarah Williams. Fear was evident in Sarah's eyes. "Why are you doing this, Martin?" Sarah asked anxiously. Martin took a deep breath and remained silent for a moment. Then he said, "This is for the best, just give me some time." But there was a strange coldness in his voice. Those were the last words Sarah heard from him. Moments later, a gunshot echoed through the deserted road, sending birds flying in fear. The investigation begins. By morning, a local hunter reported to the police that a body was lying at the edge of the forest. The police quickly arrived at the scene. Detective Benson examined the body and ordered the forensic team to collect evidence. "This case seems more complicated than a typical murder," the detective said. "There's not much blood here, meaning the body was likely moved after the murder." Sarah's engagement ring, given to her by Martin, was still on her finger. The forensic team found DNA samples under her nails, indicating a struggle before her death. Martin was soon taken into custody. He looked surprised, yet there were no signs of panic on his face. "I didn't do anything," he said. But was he telling the truth? The second suspect. During the investigation, the police discovered that Sarah had another person in her life, a man named Lucas. Lucas was an old friend of Sarah's who had suddenly reappeared in her life a few months ago. The police tracked down Lucas and took him into custody. "The last time I saw Sarah was 3 days ago," Lucas said. "She seemed very disturbed, but she didn't say anything." Detective Benson placed Martin and Lucas face to face. The two men glared at each other, and an unsettling tension filled the room. "We need the truth," Benson said in a firm voice. "Otherwise, we'll find it ourselves." The truth unfolds. Upon checking Martin's phone records, the police discovered that on the night of Sarah's murder, he had repeatedly called an unknown number. The number was traced to a hidden location, belonging to a mysterious individual. When the police arrived at the location, they uncovered another shocking revelation. There was a third person involved in Sarah's murder, someone other than Martin and Lucas. But who was this person, and what was their connection to the crime? The hidden connection. Detective Benson and his team tracked down the owner of the mysterious number. It belonged to a woman named Victoria Hughes, a private investigator with a past link to Martin. Victoria admitted that Martin had contacted her days before the murder. He was asking about Sarah, her past, her relationships, she revealed. He sounded paranoid. Victoria also disclosed that she had seen Martin meet with Lucas days before Sarah's death. This raised a crucial question. Were Martin and Lucas working together, or was one of them being set up? Lucas's secret. When confronted with Victoria's statement, Lucas's face went pale. He hesitated before speaking. "I was there that night," he admitted. "But I didn't kill her." Lucas revealed that Martin had called him, asking to meet near the forest. When he arrived, he saw Sarah's lifeless body. "I panicked and ran. I didn't know what to do." This confession complicated the case even further. Was Lucas lying, or was there still another piece of the puzzle missing? The betrayal. Further investigation uncovered another shocking truth. Martin and Sarah's relationship was built on lies. Sarah had been planning to leave Martin and had secretly contacted a lawyer to file for a restraining order. Martin had discovered this through Victoria's investigation. His paranoia and anger had driven him to act irrationally. But had he truly committed the murder, or was he being framed by someone else? Chapter 8. The Real Killer. Forensic reports revealed new evidence. Gunpowder residue was found on Lucas's jacket. The police had initially overlooked this detail. Lucas broke down under pressure. "It was an accident," he screamed. "Martin told me she was lying to both of us. He said we needed to confront her. I didn't mean to shoot her." The room fell silent. Lucas had unknowingly confessed. The arrest. With Lucas's confession and the forensic evidence, the police arrested him for Sarah's murder. Martin, while guilty of manipulation, had not pulled the trigger. As Lucas was led away in handcuffs, he whispered, "She was leaving both of us. We couldn't let her go." Justice served months later. Lucas was sentenced to life in prison, while Martin faced charges for obstruction of justice. Sarah's family finally found closure, though the pain of her loss remained. As Detective Benson closed the case file, he sighed. Love, jealousy, and betrayal. It always ends the same way. The case was over, but the scars it left